Hello, 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 everyone. Okay. Ooh, it's cold back here today. I don't know if my space heater makes too much noise. If that's noisy, let me know and I can turn it off. Uh, yeah. So, week two, values. Um, Sorry, my brain is a little bit jumbled today. Hello, Meta. Welcome. I have been spending my morning scraping cabinet doors. So my hands are like really swollen and painful, and um, yeah, I'm whiny today. Yeah. So week two. Last week we did our value graphs. Welcome, Donna. So hopefully everybody got the opportunity to do those before today. I know I did see. Let me look real quick. I did see one new one pop up while I was getting ready, but I haven't looked at it yet. So let's go see who posted some new ones. Ooh, Meta, that elephant. Wow. Hang on, I want to let me let me show. You can't hear it? Okay, good. Good, good. Uh is that going to be the right window? I don't know. Okay. Let's look here. What we have. Um, in 2023, oh, you painted that elephant in 23. Wow, Meta, it's so beautiful for Dwayne. My husband loves elephants too. Isn't that funny? Um, oh, that's so sweet. You did you paint over the original one or did you just redo just do it again? It's beautiful. They're both so beautiful. I like them both, but yeah, the color work and your values in the second one, top notch. All right, Joe posted some new value charts. The watercolor one, the brown is perfectly fine. And charcoal, excellent. I was going to say, Joe, it almost looks like we have too big of a jump here between these middle brown ones, but I see that your paper is actually folded in half and it's darker on this side than on that side. So I think you probably did great. It's just that fold in the middle made it look a little darker on the one side. Excellent work. Excellent work. I am really pleased with how you guys ran with that. And I hope that you continue to. I need to make a new one because the one I made last week is, I was looking at it today and I was like, yo, it ain't great. But I was doing it super fast and I could barely see because of the glare. But I'll make a new one. Oh, there was a video there too. Yeah, I'll watch that in a little bit. I'm excited to see how it changed. Good job. Uh, yeah, make sure that you have a good value chart um, because we will be using it next month with color. So, um, if you have not made an acrylic one, I do encourage you to make one simply because uh, we're going to be painting on it. We're going to be actually using it, not just for comparison, but in our work next month. And so you can't really paint on a charcoal one, for example, and then still be able to use it. So I do encourage you to make an acrylic one, but if not, you can print one out, buy one, laminate it, whatever. Okay, so what we are going to do today is we're going to start with just simple shapes. We're going to start looking at some of the concepts that we've talked about this year up to this point and start kind of working them in just a little bit. And like I said, next week, next Sunday, um, we're really going to like pull everything in that we've learned, and I want you to like actually start a painting. It doesn't have to be something that you're in love with or whatever. I just want to see that you know how to take everything we've learned thus far and use it. So this is going to get us ready for that. So I have, this is acrylic paper just because I didn't want to fight with buckling printer paper. And I have my black and my white. If you're using charcoal or pencil or, oh yeah, the value charts from everyone. Yeah, I saw those. Maybe we'll run over them in just a little bit. Um, I forgot that we didn't. Yeah, we looked at a lot of them. I'll go over them before we quit for the day. Um, One thing that I want to do today is start with thinking about shapes, lines, marks, etc. All of the things that we worked on January and February. So I'm going to start with shapes. And I'm going to, almost like I'm going to compose a still life, but I'm not. It's just shapes. And we're going to do this one 3 times, 3 different times. Yeah. So simple shapes. I'm going to, just using water. I would typically use matte medium to get transparent, but I'm going to get some transparent color. So this is going to be kind of a mid-ground. When you're first starting a painting or a drawing, you want to lean closer toward the side of lighter values. So from about here down. This is, I would say, maybe even from there down. Those two are backwards. So very, very light values is how you want to start, because that is easily covered up later with lighter or darker. So I'm just going to start with some shapes in a still life type composition. So we'll do like a circle. You can do whatever shapes you're comfortable with, okay? Let's see. I'm going to have let's have a triangle. It's going to cross in front of the circle, or cross behind it. The circle's sitting in front of it. And then let's just do a tabletop. We're going to go super simple here. Maybe a wall, like we'll say there's a corner of the wall there. I'm just giving myself some options so that we have enough to play with value. Is that good? I think that's good. So, whatever your arrangement is, remember we're going to do it 3 times because we're going to play with the notan. We've talked about notan before. It's a Japanese concept. I can't remember what it means. Something about, I don't know. Anyway, there's an app called the Notanizer. If you have not downloaded the Notanizer, I highly recommend it. Where? Oh, there it is. It's got a little, it's got like a little yin and yang symbol on it. It's Notanizer. So, what this does is it breaks your image down into simple values. So, let's see. I'm going to use. Let's find a picture to use. Do I want to use that one? That one's kind of hilarious. Okay, so I took a screenshot on Facebook the other day because I thought this was hilarious. It's like a Bed Bath and Beyond ad, and I was like, "What in the heck is this person wearing?" So this is in my screenshot. Still, we'll use this one. So this is, obviously the color image. Let me see if I turn that down. Maybe you can see it a little better. There we go. The color image. And if we're going to paint this, we need to know where our values are. What's dark, what's light. Sometimes you look and you think you know, but not always. So the no 10 is actually just black and white, just two values. And on this, you can adjust it so that you can, make it darker or lighter. You can see where different values are. But I like to use, this also has black and white. I like to use 3 levels, but there's also 4 levels. And down here, you can go everything from 3 up to 10 levels. But I like 3. So that's what we're going to kind of work with today. So it's got our dark values here, our mid values, and our light values. And you can kind of play with this, take away some of the light values, add more of the dark values, etc. And that is basically what we are going to be doing by doing 3 of these. We're going to be adjusting the values. So this first one I'm going to do is going to be dark. I'm going to label it dark. This is going to have an emphasis on dark values. So let's think of our 3 values as pi, okay? If we split it down the middle, this is just like one way to measure to make sure that you are getting an interesting look, because if you split your values like this, you have dark, white, and then mid. None of the values is kind of holding your attention. It's just all 3 are equally represented. So we want to keep it interesting. So this is going to be a dark one, which means I'm going to have a heavier emphasis on dark. And you can either go, like 50-50 here, or kind of like this. Whatever you prefer. You can have the next emphasis be on your midtones if you want, with just a little bit of light. It's very dramatic that way. Or you could have just a little midtones with a lot of highlights, whatever you prefer. You don't have to make that chart. It's just an example of what we're talking about. So when we start a painting, you guys have seen me do it where I'm using my color and I draw my shapes and then I start blocking in my values. So I'm starting with mid-tone values, again, just because it's easier to cover up. So I'm not going to get real precise with this. I'm just going to kind of choose like what is being hit by the light. So that's a lighter value. What is being hit by the shadow? But this is all still mid-tone right now, because you want to work up in your shadows. So that's all going to be shadowed because it's my light source I've decided is over here. And I'm going to say this is fairly dark. It doesn't have to be accurate. I don't want you to worry about getting a reference image, making sure your light and your dark is accurate. Okay, that's not what we're We're not looking for any kind of perfection right now. I'm going to go a little dramatic here. Keep a bit of light behind these so they don't disappear. And I think I need a bigger brush. Every time I say that, I think about Jaws. I'm gonna need a bigger brush. Okay. So everything I'm doing right now is gonna be in my darkest areas. And I'm trying to keep this, pretty dramatic looking. All right. So now this is basically like the No 10 where it has the two, the black and the white. And we want to keep amping that up. So we're going to go darker. We're going to start moving into our darker values. This is where you can start getting a little bit more precise. Focusing on our our marks that we're making. Be aware of the kind of marks you're making, just like in January. And you see now how I'm starting to get 3 separate values. For really complex images, sometimes it is easier to use more values, and that's where that Notenizer app comes in really handy. All right, so there's that, and we can go even darker still. I'm going to go full saturation. You don't have to do it big like this. I mean, since we're doing this 3 times, it's fine if you do it on a smaller scale, and obviously with whatever medium it is that you plan on using. So I'm not using any extra water, no medium or anything, just solid black paint. But I'm being a little more selective of where I put it. A little bit of a vignette because I love a good vignette. Okay. So there is essentially, this would be like my value study for a uh good grief. What is it called, guys? A still life. So this would be my dark value study. Um, I'm looking at the exact same still life in this next one, but so I'm going to do it as close as possible. Like pretend that this is set up in front of you. So when you do the next one, you're going to lay it out the same. The position of the light and dark and, shadows and highlights is going to be the same. It's just the proportions of those are going to be a little different. So let's do another one where this is going to be medium. I'm not going to go through all three of these. Actually, I will. I'll do it this way to just shorten it. Okay. This is going to be like the mid value one. So my pie graph might look like, let's do like this. My darks are going to be much less. I will have slightly more highlights than darks, but it's really going to be the mid value that is telling the story. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to approach it the exact same way, very, very thin, lighter value paint. And I've got my circle and my triangle, my tabletop, and then kind of a wall here, like a corner. So, exact same thing. Please put more time into yours than I am. Since I'm just demoing, I don't want to, take all day on these. You guys are so quiet today. Is it a lazy Sunday for you guys? I took a lazy day yesterday and oh my gosh, it was so nice. I have not had a lazy day in a long time. Okay, so there's my first value. My darkest values are obviously next, keeping in mind that my darkest values are going to be much less on this one. So really just keeping it to like the hidden, the areas where the light just absolutely can't reach or reflect on. Do not worry about which value you're working on. So we're doing this. I don't want you grabbing your value chart and being like, okay, well, where am I? Oh, I think that's wrong. It's not light enough. It's not dark enough. Get three. You are busy painting. Excellent. Just get three separate values. And don't be afraid to take your darks all the way dark. Okay? Let's see. Maybe just a bit in there just for some flavor. I'm going to make sure I go dark as possible in my darkest darks while maintaining my mid values as the start of the painting. So this painting's going to have a little bit of a lighter feel. It might seem a little melancholy. I think that mid-tone paintings that tend to be mid-value, I think they look a little melancholy, kind of like if you've ever dealt with depression, you know that kind of like the color washes out of the world. It just feels like the world is very dull. And so that's what mid value seems to me, where the dark value seems very dramatic to me. Of course, it can be scary, you know. A lot of people think dark is scary, but it can be. It's what you do with it. This feels dramatic. This feels a little melancholic. And now we're going to do our lightning. It is okay for you to do these as fast as I am right now because I just want you focusing on the concepts. So this is going to be light. And our pie chart, I think, is going to be like this and like this. Look at that. Very little dark. Very, very little dark. Good bit of medium. And this can be however you want. I mean, if you really want to like blow out the contrast, you could take 3/4 of this and have it be light. There's not a rule. I just think it's more interesting if they're not even. So let's do our light one. Starting just the same. Okay, we got circle, triangle, tabletop. Whoa, that tabletop got wacky. And wall. Since this is primarily going to be light, I'm focusing on not going any darker than my mid values to start. All light. And you know, once you start painting and adding your color, you may end up with a lot more than 3 values, and that's not wrong. So I don't want anyone to feel like this is a rule. Your painting has to have pure white, pure black, and a number 5 neutral. It doesn't. This is just a way for us to think about how we want to express this image, okay? And okay. So it's mostly light. We do need a little bit of dark, but these are really going to be like punctuation marks. So like the base of our... Oh, I didn't even get my mid value in here. Let's get the mid value in there. All right. Darkest value. And there. And to me, these very light or high key paintings feel, I mean, it depends what you do with it, but they can feel very nostalgic. If you think about like Thomas Kincaid paintings, everything is very bright, very high key. It feels very nostalgic and dreamy and things like that. It can also feel unnerving, like you're like under a spotlight. So it's really good to never set something up or look at an image and say, this is how it is in the image, so this is how I'm going to paint it. You might love a photograph of a circle and a triangle on a table next to a corner, and you really want to paint that. But maybe the values in that image are like this, and you're like, I don't like the feeling that I get from that. It's not the vibe that I want to go for. So, this is why we do things like this so that we can test it out and see which one, a high key. So, when all of the values are very, very light, it's called a high key, or a low key, where all of the values are very dark, or like I don't think it's actually called a mid key, just, a medium key, we'll call it. I don't know if I made that up. And see which one feels the way you want to feel, which one expresses what you want to express. Do you want to really dig into shadows and have the forms just be accentuated, feeling mysterious, maybe a little elegant? Do you want something that feels a little melancholic, or just more of a neutral vibe? Or do you want something that's very bright, very light, very airy? So that's why we do this. I don't do these this big when I do them. I usually do them small, this size or even smaller, about the size of my hand, maybe. Um, so these are what we call value studies. And you can do value studies on absolutely anything. You're just going to paint the exact same thing 3 different ways. Um, yeah. So what this does is it gives you, first, it helps you think through your subject matter, obviously, like I said. But especially now, doing these is going to help you start to look at your values, start to see your values, um, and start to understand the relationship they have with each other, as well as how to manipulate them. So, let's talk real quick about a few ways that you can actually see values with your eyes, because this is out of the brain, right? So, sorry, I need a drink. My electrolytes are way off today again. It's because I get so like focused on what I'm doing when I'm working that I don't drink any water. And then I get done working and I'm like, why am I shaky? That's why. Okay, so let's take. I just have this piece of paper sitting there. Um, let's take this piece of paper. It's just got some, I bought some new oil paints and I was just testing them out, seeing how they worked together, how they look together, blended and everything. And so that's what this is. Now, if I tell you to look at this and tell me which one is the darkest value and which one is the lightest value, what do you think you would say is the darkest, and what would you say is the lightest? Just looking at this image. I'll wait and see what anybody says. And then I'm going to give you some easy ways to actually determine which is which. If you knit or crochet, you probably have done one of the techniques that I'm going to show you. If not, you just learned a new technique for yarn work too. So, which one is the darkest? Which one is the lightest? I'll number them so that, let's say, we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and okay, 10. There. Um, Dark orange is dark. Bottom left is dark. This one here. Which one is the lightest? Number 8 is the darkest. Okay. Anybody have a lightest guess? 8, Joe says. Okay. No guesses on the lightest? Okay. So, the first technique, this is going to be the easiest one. Sometimes some people hate this technique, but I do this constantly. 9 and 4. Okay. And 9. Light is 3 or part of 4. 3. Okay, so you're talking about this part of 4, not this part. Gotcha. All right. So this one is free. You can do it anywhere you are. You could be sitting in a terminal at the airport and trying to figure out what's the darkest and lightest value around you, and you can use this technique. And that is squinting. So when I say squinting, I don't just mean like, squinting a little bit. I mean squinting so much that your eyes are almost completely closed and you're basically filtering through your eyelashes. So what happens when you do that is it kind of it dulls all of the colors, and then you're primarily left with, I know it seems like we're getting into color theory. We are not, but we will talk about this again next month. You're pretty much left with only the values. So now, you guys, let me get it so there's no glare. Squint at this one as hard as you can until you almost can't see anything, and you should be able to tell where it is the darkest. So I'm going to look at it too and squint really, really hard. And I think it's a toss up between 2 with a close third. They seem to be all the same value, just different colors. Okay. Yeah, it can be so hard to tell. And they are all relatively close in value. But there are 2 that are darker than everything else. And like I said, one that I think is a close, close third. Number 9 is still the darkest. 9 is the light. Oh, this one. Yeah, 9 is the lightest. Yes, got you guys. So did that change for anybody when you squinted? Because what I see when I squint at this really hard, I see the bottom half of 2 being as dark as 8. Pretty dang close. Number 6 to me looks like it's almost there. Almost there. Yeah, 8 is very, very dark, but surprisingly, this is just about as dark. And everybody's going to have some variation in that. So if I said this is as dark as this and you don't see that, that's okay. First of all, you're looking at a computer screen and I'm looking at the real thing. And second of all, everybody's brain works just a little different, which is why everybody's art is just a little different. So I'm going to squint at it one more time and I'm going to find the lightest value. So squinting super, super hard. And I actually think, yeah, it's definitely 9. This top part of 4 is close, but 9 is definitely the lightest. 1, 2, and 8 are the darkest. 1, 2, and 8. Yeah, I would say, yeah, 1 and 6 are pretty close. I still think 6 is slightly darker. 9 is the lightest. Yep. Let me grab a pair of scissors real quick. I'm going to show you one other thing with this. This is my next project in my house packing adventures, by the way. Now, it's really hard to tell For me, because I think this and this are about the same value, but they're so far apart here that it's hard to tell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these out just quick and dirty, trying to get as much of the white off as possible. I'm going to show you another trick. It's like arts and crafts up in here. Almost done. Okay. Now we've got those all cut out. And what we're going to do is we are going to compare them again. But this time, I'm going to show you how squinting at them removes differences, like when they touch. Okay. So 8 and what did I say? 2. So these two are the ones that I said I thought were the darkest down here, not up here. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to lay them over each other. Actually, I want to get rid of that white. Okay. They're laid over each other. And now squint your eyes at them really tight and see if you can tell where they meet. Okay. So super, super tight. I can just right down here at the bottom, I can just see where they meet. And what I see is this is darker. This one's darker. Let's see if it's darker than that bit, because that seems a little darker. You get rid of the white. Sorry if I'm moving too much. Okay. Squint super hard. I cannot see where those meet. Mm-mm. So they're just about the exact same value. Um, let's try here. Get that white off. Those are pretty close to the same value too. I might say they're pretty close. Pretty dang close. No difference where they meet. Exactly. So that means they're about the same value. Now, we all said this was the lightest one. Let's just compare it to a couple of others and see if that's true. Because sometimes your brain will see a color like yellow and it's like, that one's going to be lighter. Or it'll see a color like blue and think, that one's darker. But until you compare them side by side, you really don't know. So let's try these two. Squint super hard at it. I can't see where those meet. Mm-mm. Those are about the exact same value. Let's try. Where's number 6? Oh, yeah. This was the one that I said I felt like was almost as dark as these. So let's try it. Put it here along that one. And then squint super hard. Oh, yeah. No, it's a lot lighter. At least up here. Yeah. I mean, not a lot, but it's definitely noticeable. Down at the bottom, I can't tell where they meet down here. So, yeah, not quite as dark there. What about this 5? Like nobody picked 5 as lightest or darkest. So let's see where 5 actually ranks in here. So you can do this with your paints. You can, if you have a handful of paints and you're like, I don't know, like maybe blue. I don't know which one's darkest, which one's lightest. Paint a bunch of little cards and try something like this. All right, let's squint at that. It's a little bit darker. It's not much darker. This one, it's a little bit darker than the yellow, primarily right here by my left thumb. So, does anybody have any questions about that? I know some people hate squinting. I already have like massive crow's feet, which I don't hate and I'm not complaining about. So I don't mind squinting and, keeping that going. Here's another thing you can do. I am going to get my notenizer. I'm going to take a photo. This is through the notenizer. It has a camera. I'm going to take a photo with as little glare and shadow as possible. Come on, man, that glare is bad. There we go, much better. Okay, so there's my photo. Now, if you, like I said, if you do yarn stuff and you're shopping and you're trying to decide between some colors, take photos of them. All right, okay, so that's going to put it into the notenizer. And I'm just going to go to black and white, just black and white. And now when I look at it, oh my gosh, trying to expand in the notenizer is not really that easy. You can better see which ones are dark and which ones are light. And you can see the relationship between them. Those are pretty close. Obviously lighter, much lighter, variegated, darker. So this is a really helpful way to do it as well. There's one other way. Not everybody has this. I have it somewhere. I don't know where. But red sunglasses. So if you have sunglasses that are red, it's specifically red, like vivid red. When you look through them, the red color specifically has the effect of showing you values. Obviously, everything's going to be in red scale, but you'll be able to see where things are like bright red, that's going to be your lightest values. Where things are, very, very dark red or black, it's your darkest values. The red kind of strips. Hello, Annie. Welcome. The red kind of strips away all of the colors and leaves you with values. So those are a couple different ways that you can do it. Oh, we talked about the saturation before, didn't we? What were we doing when I was showing you how to desaturate? Oh, yeah. And last week when we were doing our, yeah. Okay. Let's do this one more time. If you don't have the notenizer, it is a pay app, but it's only like $1.99. And it's eternally useful. But if you don't have it and don't want to use it, we're going to do the same thing. We've got our image. Going to hit edit. Go to saturation. And we're going to turn the saturation all the way down. And again, that's going to help you be able to see the difference in the values. Remember, don't use a black and white filter in your phone because they're calibrated differently. So some of your darks may seem darker, your lights may seem lighter. So just desaturate it. Anyway, those are some really helpful ways to help you learn to see values. And I promised you that I was going to show you a couple of ways that you can use values to make something go from 2D into 3D. Let's see. Do I want to do it on here? Yeah, I'm going to do it on here. I'm going to do something just very simple, just for time's sake, because yeah, excellent. Thank you, Sasha. I want to get to everybody's color graphs before we go on, and I just want to demonstrate this as simply as possible right now. So we are going to I want kind of a neutral base to start. I'm sure I've got something there. This will work. Okay. So this is a little bit more neutral, okay? I am going to take some white paint and I'm just going to kind of, like, let's pretend I'm painting like beach rocks or something. I don't want to spend all day like rendering every single little rock. Okay? So those are my beach rocks. They don't look like beach rocks. They look like little blobs of white paint just chilling on top of everything else. So I'm going to take a darker value. In this case, it's just black, and I'm going to anchor it to the ground. Just by adding a little bit of a darker value at the bottom of it, kind of helps start to make it 3D. I don't know if any of you were with me several years ago when I painted a pink sprinkled donut. I think it's in my storage shed. And I did the sprinkles on it. And the sprinkles I made, I thought they looked pretty dang 3D. So let me show you kind of how that looks. So pretend this is a pretty sprinkle color. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Just tedious little lines and dots. They don't look like sprinkles. They don't have anything 3D about them. But if I take a bit of white on one side, and then black on the other side, and if my values were better than this. But having the three values anchors the element to the painting and starts to make, you can't even see that, sorry guys, starts to make it look much more 3D than just, you know, a pink streak or a blue streak on top of a pink donut. If you give it a darker value underneath it, it starts to look more 3D. And this is, we will hit on this more as we go. I just wanted to kind of give you a taste of that. You can kind of see, like, look at those ones especially. That looks like two rocks sitting on the ground, one leaning on top of the other one. And it's just a swipe of white with a swipe of dark. This one almost looks like it's got faceted edges. That again looks like two boulders kind of resting against each other. It's just from little black, little white streaks. All right, let's go look at Discord. And guys, if you have questions or anything you want to share in chat, go for it, and we will talk about it. Let's see. Okay. I think that's where we start. And yep, Joe's pencil looks amazing. Sasha did this awesome cross hatching, which was very nice. Oh yeah, I remember talking about this painting, Sasha. You did so good. Meta's pencil, excellent. Oh yeah, you did like you used different pencils to get this. That's right. That's really smart. Gorgeous. Eileen, I don't think is here, but her cross hatching and the dots. I love this. Yeah, she did a really good job on that. Ooh, Meta went crazy with the charts. Awesome. This is so good. So good. Excellent. And this is, okay, this is the one you just desaturated it. Okay. Ooh. I guess I did see this one. Oh yeah, with the blue. Okay, so we got pencil, spectacular. Joe, is this like black and blue mixed, or is this like indanthrene blue that's super, super dark? But that's a really good gradient. Oh, Payne's Gray. Oh my goodness. Is that from Golden? Because Golden's Payne's Gray is so blue. It's beautiful. I'm always just really surprised by how blue it is. Wow, Sasha pulled out all the stops here. This is excellent. And I want to see what's going on over here. I love all your different shapes and everything that you did. Oh yeah, I see. Okay, so we have the darkest here. A little lighter. So it's kind of going this way. Nice. Excellent. This one I think is particularly well done. The swirls, yeah, your value shifts in those are very nice. And colors. The doing this in colors can be it can be hard, but man, you really knocked it out, especially this kind of gold color, because that's about a mid-value color. And so to create an entire gradient out of that takes a keen eye. Excellent work. Ilya's amazing vase. Look at those values. You guys can see this, right? Okay, good. Yeah. Ilya, if you are watching this at some point, your values are sensational. This right here, you guys, this is what I was talking about, where you can make something look 3D. So this looks like this fabric is folded and casting a shadow. We've got the lightest part of it here next to a fairly crisp line against this dark, which fades out, and that creates that sense of 3D. That pulls that fabric off of the wall, where here it looks like the fabric is sitting more against the wall because it doesn't have that dark next to it. And Donna, did I see? Nope, we did not see Donna's today. Very nice. That's a really good gradient. Excellent. Donna, I love how you did your cross hatching correctly. Cross hatching is not just like constantly scribbling. It's, I go this way, then I go that way, and I add another way. And yeah, you did that all the way across, and that looks awesome. Ooh, what color did you use on this? I see it's watercolor, and the gradient is really, really good. But it almost looks like that color that you use separated a little bit, like it's a mixture. Is that a Daniel Smith watercolor? It's really pretty. And yep, we got them all. Oh, creative inspirations. Interesting. I've never heard of that one. Yeah, the golden Payne's Gray is super blue also. Which is, awesome. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Um, oh, it's a lamp black student grade paint. Interesting. The way it separated, and I mean, it could be the photo, but it looks like the color kind of settled into, there's some blues, some browns, some pinks. And I love watercolors that do that. A lot of Daniel Smiths do that. So I'd say your student paint is a nice paint. Okay, you guys. So that's all I had for you today. Please feel free to drop questions as as they come up. In Discord, feel free to post all of your work in this. What I want you doing this week, this is your homework. I do want you doing this. You don't have to do them at this size. They can be, like that size. But do at least 3 of the exact same setup with the light moving in the same way, just with different percentages of your values. I want to see a light, a mid, and a dark. Okay? I don't care what the subject is. Don't go beyond this point though and like start getting details and colors and everything in there. And it's okay if it's a scrappy painting. These are pretty scrappy. I just want to see that you understand 3 values and the different ways to apply them to the same image. And again, I don't care what medium you use. Yeah. Oh, and also you don't have to do it in black. Some of you did some of your graphs in colors, and that's okay. You can do this in a color too if you really want to challenge yourself. That's okay too. So do these 3, and next week we are going to actually start a painting using all the concepts from all 3 months. Okay? So be thinking about what you want to do. Again, let's keep it simple. We don't need to, create a masterpiece. We just need to put all the concepts together. So you just finished them. Awesome, Joe. I can't wait to see them. So, okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. I look forward to seeing your work, and I'll probably see you guys in a couple of days for a live painting. And yeah, anyway, have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you later.